Hello. All right, then let's get started. Welcome to the webinar. We are going to talk here about MITRE attack. And the key here in this webinar will be the live demonstration of MITRE attack techniques and tactics. So you will be able to see like that in action. Because quite often, probably you heard about MITRE attack before, but it's not really clear how it looks like really in action when you can see it in the real cyber attack. That's what I'm going to demonstrate here, the MITRE attack. So first of all, before we start talking about the actual topic, let me show you who I am, or who am I, what you feel like more. So my name is Sergey, and I'm a security consultant instructor. I'm a conference speaker as well, speak at different conferences, DEF CON, B-Sides, Black Hat, and many others. I have certifications like my Microsoft MVP in security. I have, of course, number of basic council certifications like 𝐂𝐐EH, LPT Master, CPAN, and many others, and OSCP, and of course OSCP is not from basic council, CompTIA, and many more. When I prefer to deliver training, speak at the conferences or any webinars, I prefer to show live demos. So in my session, you will not see many slides. So usually I show slides pretty quickly and then switch to live demo to explain that in more details. That's the plan. That's the plan again, to show you many live demos. During the session, you may use a Q&A. So if you want to ask something, please don't spam me here, because I can see in Q&A there are hello and that kind of stuff. Yeah, that's good. That's good. Hello. But yeah, try to, let me just see if I can remove that. Yeah, let me remove that. And so try to communicate via Q&A for something important, because otherwise I may miss the real question. All right, so let's get started. So what we're going to do here, we're going to discuss MITRE attack in details. Again, I'm not going to show you many theoretical slides. That will be MITRE attack in action. So, which is probably heard, MITRE attack is the globally accessible knowledge base of adversary tactics and techniques. And so MITRE attack, that's the knowledge base, is used as a foundation of development of specific threat models and methodologies, and used for many companies, public sectors, and I would say literally for most of the companies in the world. And also red teams and blue teams actively use MITRE attack. So red teams, to understand better attack, I mean, of course, the red team methodology is quite often is based on the MITRE. Vice versa, to be fair, MITRE attack is based on red team methodology. But anyway, and blue teams also, they learn about attacks because they want to understand attackers much better. So that's the plan for today. Just talk about MITRE attacks. Before that, let me show you one important page that we are here about as well. MITRE attack and different attacks, they are considered on the training. I mean, they discuss in the training 𝐶EH, Certified Ethical Hacker. So if you want to learn about them, you know where to find 𝐶EH, quite well-known certification. We'll talk about that as well. Is the session live? At least I'm talking and they can hear me. So yeah, this should be live. All right, so now, why should we take care of, I will show you a few slides in the beginning, and then we're going to early switch to demo. So why should we take care of MITRE attack? First of all, MITRE ATT&CK, we need to understand that even if we're not attackers, even if we're defenders, we need to understand MITRE ATT&CK just because to understand attackers' behavior, to build a protection, we need to understand attackers' behavior. So plus many products that you will use for protection, like SIEM system, XDR system, EDR, whatever, they also use MITRE ATT&CK. So if they detect something, they try to map it to tactics of MITRE, tactics and techniques of MITRE ATT&CK. Also, you should know that there is another framework called MITRE Defend, which is designed especially for defenders, only for defenders. I mean, especially for defenders. It may be used quite effectively if you know MITRE ATT&CK, and then like a next step is to go deeper into protection from those kind of attacks. But first, you need to understand MITRE attacks. Oh, by the way, I will handle your questions. I can see there you also start to ask questions, but I will handle your questions in the end if you don't mind. So I will reserve like a few minutes for your questions. All right. So one last slide, and then we're going to really talk about MITRE ATT&CK. That's just an example of integration of MITRE ATT&CK with like security products. So on this screenshot, you may find, please mute the microphone. On this screenshot, you might find Microsoft Sentinel, which is like well-known SIEM system from Microsoft. And you may find here that there is a MITRE integration. You may find different tactics and techniques, how many rules you have for those tactics, how many different things in Sentinel you have for each tactic. So you may find it in a different security product. All right, so now let's take a look at every step of MITRE ATT&CK. I will try to show you all tactics, but of course I will not be able to show all techniques because there's I didn't even count them, but there are like a lot of them. I need the whole day to show you them. That's not, a whole day is not enough. So maybe a week. But I will be able to show you all tactics during our webinar, and I will take one technique from every tactic, and I will try to chain them into the in the kill chain, so you'll be able to find the attack from the beginning to the end. All right, so let's start from that's the screenshot of MITRE ATT&CK from MITRE website. You may find from the left to right there are a number of tactics. So tactic is like a number of attacks grouped together. So somehow they group together. Normally, there are different stages of the attack kill chain. And so that's why I'm going to move from left to right and show you one stage, one stage by one, like one tactic by one, and just to show you how attack may progress. And the first stage, or how they call it in MITRE ATT&CK tactics, called reconnaissance. So in reconnaissance, we would like to gather information about our target, because before you can compromise anything, I mean, you're attacker or whatever. So if you prefer to be like an ethical hacker, or you're only defender and you want to protect your company from the real hackers. But so in any case, a first step will be reconnaissance, because if we want to attack someone, we need to know more information about the target. So I would like to show you here one of the stages and one of the techniques. And here I'm going to gather victim identity information. So from here, I'm going to switch to demo. So you can see here, this says demo. From here, I'm going to switch to demo. Let me get back to this page. So we know that there is a training provider. To be fair, I don't know how to pronounce it properly. Edureka, I guess. And so let's say I would like to gather more information about the training provider. And let's say I would like to compromise one of the employees of training provider. Please don't do it. So what I want to do first, let's say I would like to send a phishing email to one of the employees. To send a phishing email, I need to have first their addresses. How can I do it? Let me scroll all the way down to the bottom. And here I can find an option called Contact Us. All right, click on that. And so if I check, I can see there's an email address called sales@edureka.com.ko. Also, there are some other addresses. So I know that the email domain is the same domain that they have for their website. It's not always the case, but here I want to double check that they have the same email domain. Now, my next step is to find out employees. So here there is a quite well-known tool called Hunter.io. So this tool gather different addresses from the internet and store in the database. And here, if I type this domain, I will be able to find 35 employees, 35 addresses at least, found on the web. Yeah, of course, you can use different ways to do it. Like, there are special tools like Harvester, or you can use Google Food just to use Google for that. But this service is quite efficient. So I found some names, sorry, GDPR and other personal identifiable information, but that's the OSINT. That's not something I gather secretly. So that's OSINT. And what I can also find here, I can see the email pattern, which is first name and last name. So if I know the name of the person, even if I don't know email address, but I know the name of the person, I can predict that address will be first name dot last name and then the domain. And that will allow me to send email to any of the employees if I know their names, of course. How to find out names of employees, LinkedIn, and other ways to do it. All right, so that was the reconnaissance. So if I want to send phishing email, I need to gather some information first. Next step is going to be resource development. So here, if I know my target now, I need to plan how I'm going to attack. And so do I need to have any resources for that? Of course I need. So if I want to send phishing email, probably I need to have some kind of malicious file that will be sent, or maybe some website and the link, I'm going to send the link to the website. Also, if someone open my malicious file, what will happen? So there should be some kind of infrastructure that will accept the connection from user, establish reverse shell, and so on. So that's something that we must do internally. So we don't do it something against our target. That's our development. So here I can develop my own attack, my own malware. So I already did that. I have my command control center, or it's not really command control center, but that will be used to accept connection from my victim. And now, next step is to establish initial access. So here I'm going to really compromise my target and get access to one of the victim machines or victim usernames or whatever it may be, or user credentials. So in our case, we decided to use phishing. Let's use phishing. I'm going to switch to victim, like my target. Open up Google Chrome, and here I can see the email with attachment called Save Today. All right, I'm gonna click download. And yeah, that was downloaded. Let's close that. And so phishing email was sent. User even received that. Now the next step is to execute what was received. That's called next step execution. So here again, there are many different ways to how it can be done, but in our case, it will be user execution. So somehow we send it to user, and now and maybe we made attractive email for user, like please open it, do it, you will win $1 million or whatever it may be. So in our case, it will be user execution. So next step of MITRE, next tactics of MITRE attack. So let me go to download folder and open here Save Today. So here we can see the file like some kind of price sheet. And we said, please enable macro. So we need that to calculate your discount. Okay. So user needs to follow my recommendation. Let me double check that I have my listener. Yes, this listener is established. Let me click enable content. So we have discount now. some kind of discount. And let's see, yeah, I have a shell. So now I was able to receive the remote access to user machine. If I take a look, like host name. Oh, damn it. Sorry, typo. Okay. Host name. Oh, great. All right, let's close that. Sometimes they don't work. Either shell may not work perfectly with typos. So let's try again. Enable content. We have reverse shell. Let's say host name, and command is pretty slow. Maybe some kind of protection on the machine blocks that, but we'll see. All right, let's leave it running. Maybe it needs more time, and switch back to demo. So user execute my payload, and I was able to receive a reverse shell to user machine. Now the next step is persistence. So the problem is if user reboot the workstation or like close something, because if we start to actively explore the user machine, it may slow down and user may just reboot the machine. So attacker needs to pretty quickly establish persistence. So to be able to get back this machine later on. So there are many ways to do it. So for example, we can create our own account, or we can add something to log on, auto start, change boot properties, add browser extension, and so on. So there are many ways to do it, create a process if we have permissions for it, and so on. So what I'm going to show you here, because we started from Excel, I would like to use Excel again for startup. There's one quite not very well-known way to establish persistence. Let me that. Not very well known is to use Office for persistence. Let's take a look. I'm gonna go back to my demo. Close. Oh, before I close that, let me go to options of my Excel. Click on Trust Center, Trust Center settings. And to be fair, not everyone knows, but by default, when you install Office, there are 6 locations that are trusted by default. What does it mean, trusted? It means that if you place document into this location, you don't need to click enable macros or anything like that. It will be opened. It will be opened without any prompts. Plus, 3 of those locations are called startup. So that means if user opens Excel or Word or whatever it may be, depends on the application, it will the document placed in the folder will start automatically. So if I place a document to, like, say, this folder and open Excel, it will open the document from this folder automatically. But of course, if I don't have permissions currently to place into this folder, but there's a folder called user startup. So this folder, if you look at this, that's the folder in the user profile. So even if I'm not a local administrator, if I'm a standard user without any special privileges, but I can place the document into this folder just because I compromised the user already, and that's the user profile. So let me take this path. So this folder is currently empty. Let me close the Excel real quick. Cancel that. Cancel that. And so I prepared a document for you called blank and place it on the desktop. Let me move it to this folder. Now, hostname is still waiting for something. Let me kill the shell. Control C, yeah. And let me configure my listener again. And now let's say the shell was killed. User may restart the workstation or something else. So if I have this persistence, user just need to open Excel and fingers crossed. Yeah, I have a list. I have a shell. Now I have a shell. I wonder why it doesn't show me who am I. Some commands. So here maybe something is blocking it. Maybe no. Command are too slow. But I don't see any prompts from antivirus. No prompts from antivirus. Nothing. All right. Something is blocking it. Maybe firewall. All right. So let's take a look at the next step. So here we have a persistence. And on my next step, I need to become administrator. Because currently there's a high chance that you compromise, I mean, the attacker compromised only standard user. With standard user permissions, I will not be able to do much. Because with standard user permissions, what I can do, I can explore files on the disk. Maybe I'll be able to find out other files of the network, but I will not be able to elevate to the main administrators. I will not be able to compromise other accounts, probably. So yeah, of course, compromise of a single account, even with low privileges, that's the big deal. But we need to move further. And so next step is to elevate our privileges to someone else. And so before we need to elevate privileges, what I would like to do, I would like to make a quick discovery. So let's continue from this interface. It will be better, more visible better, and it definitely work. Let me just change the font for you. Font to, let's say 28. Should be pretty good. Now, let's say I would like to check administrators on this local machine. Let's see, net user. And I can see on this machine, there are a few users, like guest users, user with my name, and that's it. All right, let's say net local group. Okay, I can see local groups on this machine. Let me clear the screen. And now let's say local group administrators. And what I can see here, there are group members, and there is a member, 𝐂𝐫𝐞 help desk. I mean, administrators, not only the main admins, but also help desk. So there's a high chance that, I mean, help desk administrators, they are also administrators. And maybe there's a high chance that user may call someone from support in case of problems. So if we can like make some problems, maybe user will call someone from support. Let's try to find who is the member of this group, help desk. So this time I will say net group. Help desk. Help desk. And that's the group from the main. So I'm gonna say the main. And I can see there's one oddly single member, user called 𝐴𝐵𝐶. So we'll try to compromise credentials of user 𝐴𝐵𝐶, and that will allow me to elevate probably. Oh, by the way, I didn't show the next slide. So my attack will be valid account. So I'm going to try to elevate using some accounts. And let's take a look. I'm gonna use command to convince user to call the help desk. And so the command will look like this. So it says, oh, something gets failed. we need to type credentials of someone. And so please type credentials of 𝐬_𝐻. And so user may call to help desk and say, hey, I can see this window. And 𝐬_𝐻 may think, okay, maybe there's a process on my behalf and I need to provide my credentials, something like that. And let's say 𝐬_𝐻 was quite naive and provide password. And now I was able to find out the password. Of course, I can do it remotely. I don't need to do it from the interactive shell on the same screen with user. But it's like one of the options. Quite simple, but we can do it quickly. So now we have credentials of the account of 𝐬_𝐻, and with this we can move on. All right. So next step is going to be defense evasion. I just want to quickly remind you, now I'm administrator. Next step, I would like to do something naughty, but probably antiviruses and some other stuff may block me. Do you remember I tried to execute commands from the shell? It did not work. Maybe because of the defense. Just at this moment, I don't want to check logs and see what's going on. But there is always defense on the machine, especially that's the Windows machine. They have antiviruses built in, and it's quite hard to disable it. Let's try to work with defense evasion. By the way, if you can see here the number, it says 42. So this tactics contains the highest number of techniques. Really, there are so many ways, there are so many techniques for defense evasion, because the more defenses that added, the more techniques will be added to evade defense. I will show you again one single defense evasion, which is called impair defenses. So what I would like to do here, I would like to just make sure that one of the antiviruses on this machine will not stop me. So how I'm going to do it? Let's first take a look what kind of antiviruses I have. I can, by the way, I can do it from the command prompt, but let's use interface for it. So first antivirus I have is McAfee. So we can take a look here. So antivirus is turned on. We can also check if there's everything is turned on, like my protection, real-time scan is turned on. There's no exclusion. So yeah, that's all things in antivirus are here by default. But even if I have this third-party antivirus, we still have built-in Defender, Defender antivirus that's built into Windows. And this antivirus, come on. This antivirus will still work, will still continue to work in a passive mode, but it will continue to work. It says I did not enable periodic scans, but somewhere in the background, it still may block something. So what I would like to do, I would like to make sure that I get rid of Defender antivirus completely, not really completely, but I would like to do it at least for some time period. So let me open CMD again. As administrator. This time I know credentials of 𝐬_𝐻. All right, what I would like to do, I would like to remove definitions for Defender antivirus. Oh, no signature even loaded. Oh, anyway, so no engine signature is currently loaded. Okay, I think Defender antivirus wasn't even loaded. Not a problem, but we tried to remove signatures and it worked. So how it may look like on the different machine. So let me just open CMD again, but on my different machine. So click on that. And yeah, we roll back, but we tried to roll back. It did not work because I have additional protection that stops me from doing that. But here it must say that your current signature is something like that. And then you can roll them back and remove them completely. What was the feature that blocked me from doing that? Is called I think it's somewhere here. Manage settings. It's called temper protection. So, but because I had third-party antivirus McAfee, there wasn't any temper protection, so I could do it without any restrictions. So let me do it again. Let me roll back the database. Yeah, so now done, and now we don't have any signatures on the Defender antivirus, and we can do whatever we like. Of course, it will start to complain. All right, let me jump back. Now we at least try to make one of the antiviruses blind. So that was the step called defense evasion. Defense evasion. So we made our antivirus blind. Let's move to the next step. And the next step is going to be credential access. So if we disable antivirus and we already administrators, now we have more access to credentials stored somewhere on the machine. So maybe we can check credentials in a password store, like somewhere in the vault of the browser, or credentials of the web of the web. Let me just show a few examples before I really dive into we'll continue in my demo. But for example, if I go to, let's say, let me open Chrome browser. And go to settings. I think it's privacy and security. And, oh no, autofill and password, sorry. Google Password Manager. Yeah, so you may store some passwords here. So safe passwords will appear here. And so you may find out passwords if users save some passwords. It's quite common to save passwords for users. You probably know that. Also, there are some credentials can be stored in Credential Manager. Credential Manager, which is the part of Windows. So of course, on this machine, there are no really stored credentials except my current credentials I used to sign in. So nothing here because this machine is freshly deployed just a few hours ago, just for this demo. But in a normal machine, if someone compromises a normal machine, there are a number of things that are already saved. It is possible to find out the files in the disk with credentials, if you remember the quite famous compromise of the large company, billion-dollar company, when attacker was able to compromise the user machine, bypass MFA, and then found on the web on the somewhere on the network on a file share, found credentials of administrator. That could be done. What I'm going to do here, I would like to dump credentials of operating system. So maybe you know, probably you know that when you sign into Windows, it will cache your credentials in a special process called LSASS process. So if I dump this process, I will be able to access credentials that's stored currently in the currently running Windows. So first, what I would like to do, I would like to open command prompt again. This time I would like to open it as a different user. And let's say I would like to type another username called trainer and password. What it means? It means that this user somehow has a session on the machine. So if I have any session, like maybe there's a service running on behalf of this user, or maybe user connected remotely, whatever. or any process running on behalf of this user will add credentials to memory. So now what I would like to do, I would like to jump back to CMD of Michael Smith. Michael Smith, where is that? Smith. And now let me open Task Manager as Michael Smith, as local administrator. By the way, most of the time, attackers in the real world, they don't use interface for it. So they use all command prompts, PowerShell. But to make demo a bit more clear, I'm trying to use more graphical tools, because in that case, that's a bit easier to follow rather than just a bunch of commands. So if I can show something from the interface, I prefer to show from the interface. So let me go to details and see the processes. Here there's a process called _lsas.exe. So this process cache credentials of users that currently sign in somehow to the machine. So what do I mean by somehow? So if you look at the username on the column we call username, I can find out username JDO, but I guess there are some CMDs of other users. So look at this. There's a trainer, msmith. So those credentials are also cached by _lsas process. Now, if I'm an administrator, I will be able to right click and choose the option called create dump file. All right, let me click create dump file. So it made a dump. To be fair, I did it before just to make sure it's working. Okay. Let's make another dump to find out where it's stored. So file location wasn't open for some reasons. Check the span. Okay, I got it. I know why. The reason is because current user that signed in doesn't have permissions to access this folder. All right, if I won't be able to do it from the interface, I will use, of course, CMD, but let's try, let's say, continue here. Yeah, type credentials. Okay, now let's go to oh yeah, I need to show hidden files first. Sorry, items, up data, local, temp. Oh yeah, so all those LSAs are stored here. All right, so let me take one of the LSAs. Let's say LSAS 2. Let me remove the previous one because that's just for the test. Let me rename this one. Rename that one to LSAS.dmp. And what I need to do, I need to take this file. Let me even zip it. I need to take this file and copy it to my attacker machine, so I will be able to analyze the content. So let me drop it to another machine. It might take time, by the way, so one moment. All right, so let's replace it. All right, while waiting, let me check Q&A because it might take some time. And so I can handle a few questions, maybe one, maybe two. What is the main difference between MITRE attack and the DDoS attack? I don't know what to say here. I think it's completely different things. So MITRE attack, that's the framework. MITRE attack explains different tactics used by attackers. So what techniques can be used by tactics means like a group, and technique is the specific technique. So MITRE attack explains the attacker behavior and different tools and techniques they use. DDoS, that's the specific attack, and you may probably find DDoS in one of the MITRE attack in MITRE attack as well. So DDoS, that's the specific attack. MITRE, that's the framework. So yeah, that was your question, and that was my answer. Let me just say, yeah, I done with this. All right, other questions later on, because we already have our file copied. Now, to really work with this file, what I need to do, I need to open a tool called Mimikatz. Quite well-known tool, I would say, one of the most well-known tools to work with credentials. And here, type command called secure LSA mini dump and provide the name of _LSAS.dnp. All right, now next command will be secure LSA logon passwords and error handle that mini dump. So handle on memory. There are a few reasons why it might happen. So first reason, maybe my current antivirus doesn't allow me to do it. Might happen. So let me just try to turn it off. Nope, wasn't the case. Let's try the previous command again. _LSAS.dnp. I hope that was the right one. Logon password. No, it's not working again. So why it might happen? Probably because of a few reasons. Maybe because this version of Mimikatz is a bit older. So that's the older version of Mimikatz can't open this dump. And that's the most common reason why it might happen. We can try to download the new version. You probably know where to find it. H was updated, thank you. Let's try again. Like mini cuts. So it might be because of the version of Mimikatz is a bit outdated, or because the later version of Windows we have, the more protection Microsoft add to Windows, and there are a number of features. There are a number of features that may deal with those credential dumps. Let's just check it. So let me quickly download in 7-zip. Yeah, I would like to download that. Keep it. Yeah, I would like to keep it anyway. One moment, I will unzip it on my remote machine and get back to you. Because I don't want to show you the full folder structure. So let's unzip it. And let's see what was the problem. So let me open Mimikatz again. This time I will repeat the same command, secure LSA mini dump, and the name of that is _LSAS.dnp. So then secure LSA logon passwords, and yeah, it's working. So probably the version of Mimikatz that was outdated couldn't deal with the credentials from the newer version of Windows. All right, now let me scroll up and look at this. So there is a 𝐤𝐷O credentials, 𝐤𝐷O. There's a 𝐒𝐞𝐫𝐞 credentials, but we already have them. What I need to do, I need to find out trainer. Oh, look at this. So there's a credentials for user trainer. Yeah, it's not a password itself, because passwords are not stored normally in the plain text in Windows, but we have hash, and we have hash of this password. So it's better than nothing. We can try to work with hash. So let's move to the next step. Now, after we have some credentials, we would like to be fair, this tactics may be used before, after discovery. We use quite often before and after and all the time, because we need to gather information, we need to find more and more and more all the time. So this tactic, discovery, may be used even before. If you remember, I gather some information about users and groups even before that. So discovery, when we gather more information in the network, we can find out more information about the network, about passwords, about users, about storages, file shares, file discovery, and so on, group policy discovery, and so on. To be fair, I showed you that before, so I don't want to do it again, but you saw some examples. Let's move to the next step. So next step will be lateral movement. Lateral movement means, so with this so if I have some kind of credentials, if I have not really only credentials, if I have a network, and on my current machine, I found some credentials, I can try to use those credentials to pivot around across the network. So I can try to find out other machines, connect to them, other networks, connect to them. So I try to move on, not just stick on the single machine, but find out other targets and find out more things on the network. And now the question, how can I do it? To be fair, I have 𝐒𝐞𝐫𝐞. So there's a high chance that 𝐒𝐞𝐫𝐞 is administrator on every single machine, every single workstation on the network. There's a high chance. But here I don't want to just jump around the network. Just jump to other workstations. Let's find a way to jump to another, to the main controller. Let me first take a look at the credentials of different users from the interface. So if I look at the help desk, and I can see members, I can see there's a 𝐒𝐞𝐫𝐞 and member of. It's just a regular group. So this group may be a member of local admins on the workstation, but there's a very low chance that this group will become an administrator on the server. Yeah, there's on the main controller. So on the domain admins, enterprise admins, and me. So I need to find out a bit more. So let's go back to discovery. I said I don't want to show it to you again, but I need to show it to you again, because now I have to go back to workstation. Come on, CMD, open up, and type net group domain administrators, or domain admins, I think. Domain admins, domain. And I can see here there's a user trainer, and this user is the member of domain admins. So now I have the hash of this user, and I know that this user is the domain administrator. Oh, nice. So there's a high chance if I deal with this hash, I will be able to compromise the main controller. And so if I compromise the main controller, I compromise the whole, in fact, domain. So let's move to the next step, which is lateral movement. And here I would like to show you something that quite risky, to be fair, to show. I'll try because I didn't disable antiviruses, to remember. If it won't work, I will disable antivirus and try again, okay? So let's try to do it without with antivirus turned on. It may not work. It may not work. I'll try. So first of all, let me jump back to this machine. Close all the windows and leave these windows as msmith. Run it. Who am I? I'm msmith, probably msmith. Yeah. So I would like to leave the. I like to work from this window. I'm still msmith. Trainer. I have credentials, but I don't know the password. I know only hash. Let me jump back to my attacker machine. Copy this hash. What we can do with this hash? So one thing we can do will be super easy. Let's go to hash. Let's see. NTLM hash cracker. Let's try that one. Place this hash, provide a captcha, submit and search, and it was found. It was found, and what was the password? Oh, here we go. So here is the actual password. But this password was pretty simple. That's why it was found in a database. If I make some modifications, let's say search again, because normally password shouldn't be that simple. Let me just modify something. This time it will not work. So this time I change a few digits and it, oh, invalid capture. Okay. Hey, come on. Okay, so now it says that something is pretty bad. That hash wasn't found. And normally, most of the time, your the hashes of the real users, of administrators, will be much more complicated than the password. So it won't be that easy to crack the hash. So what we need to do, we need to use something else. And here I would like to say a few words about alternative authentication material. So one of the most simple example of alternate authentication material is an attack called pass the hash. So we use hash instead of password, and we receive the ticket as using hash. So that's the long story why it works. Not here because that's a really long story. Let me just try it with the infrastructure I have currently. So first of all, what I need to do, I need to drop Mimikatz on the machine, but normal Mimikatz will be blocked by antivirus. Let's try. So let me drop this Mimikatz to the machine. Should be blocked by antivirus. So come on. McAfee doesn't say anything. Nice. McAfee, any questions? All right, let me try to open it. By the way, you probably know, right, that we have 35 more minutes, just in case that our webinar is 1.5 hours. Hey, come on, McAfee, kill it, kill it, kill it. Oh yeah, thank you, finally. So that was killed. I hope. Let's try something else. Let's try to use my own Mimikatz that I create to evade McAfee. It may not work in 100% cases, but let's try. So called ugly dogs. Desktop. Ah, that's not 𝐞𝐫𝐞𝐻 desktop. Damn it. User Jada desktop. Fingers crossed. Okay, it's working. Now, I need to elevate privileges. Debug. And then I would like to say secure LSA, PTH, which means pass the hash. User will be trainer. Domain will be 𝐶𝐬𝐳.com. And hash will be NTLM. 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 Where's the hash? Yeah, looks like my stupidity. I didn't save the hash. Is it still on my clipboard? Nope. Damn it. My bad. All right, let's do it more simple instead of do it again. I mean, let's say NTLM hash generator. Let's quickly find a hash. So password. So that must be a hash. All right, let me try to use this hash. Cross your fingers. And it must open UCMD as a trainer. Don't ask me why it's so slow, but it is. So we need to cross our fingers for a longer time. Come on. We are trying to open CMD with credentials of trainer, and I didn't use any passwords. So password replace, and now we have CMD, and now here I should be a trainer. If I type who am I will not be trainer, but I received the ticket of the user trainer. So now if I try like say dr//dc1, dc1 $C of the main controller, fingers crossed again. Yes, I have access to the main controller, which means, because if I compare, like, let's say here I'm 𝐞𝐫𝐞, dr, clear the screen first. Dr dc1 $C as 𝐞𝐫𝐞, it should not allow me to do it. Yeah, access denied. But in a different window, with pass the hash, I was able to explore the main controller C drive. All right, so let's move to the next step. We are very close to the end. Now, when we became like a god in this network, we can collect data from anywhere I want. I can copy files from network, from local storage, doesn't really matter, from any single place. Let's quickly connect to one of the machines. And again, I'm not going to really collect data from one machine to another machine, doesn't really matter. But again, if I became like an administrator in the domain, I can do whatever I want. And I can connect to any machine, I can connect to any kind of data and extract any kind of data I want. So, and now my goal is to find out some data, maybe on a local machine, on the network, on the server, on the web server, but now I have access literally everywhere, so I can find out data. So this moment, I just find data. I don't really, I may collect it together somewhere locally on my compromised machine, but currently I don't extract it from the company, but I may find it and collect somewhere locally. So next step is to establish some infrastructure for data extraction. So in my case, that will be web service. And I will show you quite modern way to extract data, because currently, so one of the problems of the data extraction that blue team may detect it. So one of the ways to stay a bit more hidden with data extraction is to use the same tools that company already use. What do I mean by that? Let's say company use Google Drive. If I extract data using Google Drive, then for blue team, it will not look suspicious because Google Drive in the logs, that's something common because users use that. Or let's say Microsoft OneDrive or any other, you name any kind of storage. So if company already use it, and I use the same service for data extraction, it will not really look suspicious for blue team. All right, let me just quickly just open it up. Just open it up. Oh yeah, let's say I found some data on the disk. It should be somewhere here in docs. Oh, it's already encrypted, sorry. Let me remove that. And let's place data here. So let's find, let's say we found some data, we find some files we want to extract. And then what we need to do, we just need to somehow open up the cloud service that we're going to use for data extraction. Come on. G Drive. And I don't want to sign in with my credentials, of course, but you got an idea. If company actively use this service, it won't look suspicious compared to like some kind of weird IP addresses of command control center of attacker. So we established that, and then actual exfiltration when we really upload data to web service. What is another benefit of that? Not only it's more stealthy, but also, large amount of data extract over the command prompt, like over reverse shell, will be hard, or over DNS and all other kind of tools. But uploaded to the cloud is much easier. So exfiltration over web service, a cloud service also part of the web service. Finally, that's the last stage, and then I will handle your questions and so on. Finally, impact. So after that, after attackers finish with data extraction, they would like to make investigation and all that stuff more complicated, and they quite often make some encryption or removal. So they try to destroy logs, destroy data. So do something also to make additional damage. Maybe that was their goal, because that's maybe like a competitor and would like to break something and make a denial of service. That, by the way, there was a question about denial of service. So here's like a point denial of service. Or maybe we just want to make investigation harder. And that's why we would like to encrypt everything. We would like to remove everything as much as we can. So let me just real quick make an encryption. So let me data encrypted for impact. Yeah, I can see that you have your hand is raised. Please wait. That's the last stage, and then I will handle all your questions. So I create my own ransomware. Let me make encryption. So I would like to encrypt. The path will be C docs. And oh, damn it. One more time. One. Ah, I know what's going on. I have additional protection, sorry. Let me disable this additional protection, which is normally disabled on Windows. Now it should work. And let's set password like 123. And yeah, now data is encrypted. And now we have an impact. So data is encrypted. All right, so that was the last tactics of MITRE attack. And I hope now you got an idea what it is, what MITRE attack is. And so this live demo with the kill chain gave you some ideas of those phases, how they call tactics. Of course, I cannot show you all techniques. It's literally impossible. You remember defensive agent, we have 42 techniques that I need a few hours just to show you all that stuff. But you get an idea what those tactics are. Now, that was the full demo. And as I said, that after I finish the demo, I can handle your questions. So it's time for Q&A. Let me take a look. I see your hand is raised, but let's first. Before I do Q&A, you know what might happen during Q&A? Some people may disconnect because they are not interested in the questions of other people. So what I would like to do before I would like to run one more thing. And there is a poll. Kindly ask you before you we start looking at before we start looking at your questions, can you please answer some questions we have to you? We have 43 people, 43% of participants. Come on, let's do at least 50. Vote, vote, vote. 52, cool. 60? I know I will never get 100, but maybe 70. When I see 80, I will leave you alone, I promise. Now it's 60. Don't you want to click? Looks like we're stuck on, 63, cool. Continue. Right, so more. It's like 15 out and 22. Oh, yeah. I wonder why 22, if I can see a bit more people. All right, so let's leave here. Let's leave it here. Thank you for your responses. And let's take a look at the Q&A. How can we get the password? All right, so that's the problem. I don't understand the context. Oh, you don't know how the user. Okay, so probably that's the same user. That's one of the problem when I check your questions in the end. When you just type some question, when I show you demo, there was a context for it. Now I don't know what was the context. All right, let me just so user.opencmd. Let me just quickly show you how it happened. So first of all, what I did, opencmd. and I send this command as an attacker. Let me just also zoom a bit. Oh, that's not the right one. Come on. So we just use it's simple PowerShell command to create a window, and I can add any text. Let's say, let's save something here. 𝐶HV12, and let's press enter. And now it should open the window. Yeah, so there's a window with word ch with 12 and ask me for credentials. So we're trying to convince now support, like, oh, there's some kind of application that works on your behalf, and now it lost your password, and you need to provide a password. We need to make it convincible, like important line of business application stopped working, please provide credentials. So if that guy provide credentials, here, here, yeah. So now we see the actual password. I guess that was the question. And then if I would like to open that with another password, I just hold Shift, click on CMD, right? Click on CMD, and there are a few options like run as administrator or run as a different user. So that was the question. All right. So now let's take a look at the you type LSAS wrongly. Can I reduce the brightness of my screen? It looks like it's too late. Sorry. You type LSAS wrongly in the first terminal. I don't think so. Probably that was the problem wasn't Mimikatz because that was too old. Looks like when your system antivirus protection is on or working, there are low chances of system breach. So why then do OS managers give an option for system protection to be disabled by user while we want to achieve an attack-free environment? So nothing is impossible. Even if we have protection, still doable. Look at this. Look at this. I used my own Mimikatz, and I was able to use it for pass the hash, even if antivirus without any exclusions enabled on the machine. It's still doable, It's much harder, but doable. So again, I just want to show you again that there is no cheating. So there's an antivirus turned on. Slow antivirus, okay. There's no cheating. If I look at my protection, so real-time protection, so it's turned on, and there's no exclusion. So, but I was able to run Mimikatz, my old Mimikatz, of course, that I modified, and I used it for pass the hash, even with antivirus turned on. So it's still possible if attacker is not script kiddie. But you're saying about why so then OS managers gives us an option for system protection to be disabled by user. Users cannot really do it. Users, if you have privileges of administrator, you can do it. If you are a user, there's no really way to disable protection. And even if you are a manager, I mean, if you're administrator on the machine, some protection is pretty hard to disable. Try to disable Defender antivirus completely. Oh, that's tough. That's tough. And even if you disable it, it won't last long. So for example, if I disable antivirus, maybe it's already turned on. Let's see. No, it's not turned on, but after a few hours, it will be turned on automatically again. So yeah, it's quite hard nowadays to disable protection, but there's an option if you need to do it. If you're a developer and maybe it interfere with your development, you need to test something, there's still be an option to disable it for temporarily, but you need to have a lot of permissions for that. All right, and how like how can we know the password? I think I showed it a few times already, but let me point your attention on that. If you run this command, in your command prompt as an attacker, you will receive the password. And of course, what you can do, you may store it in the text files, not only in the command prompt. So whatever you like, you can it's a PowerShell. You can output the file, out file command, and all the rest will be in the file. So you open the file and see the password. Does MITRE have full meaning? Do you mean the actual abbreviation? Yeah. Oh. No, not this one. Somewhere it was, but so it's like I think it was some kind of like company or something like that, not like really company. Don't remember for sure where it came from, but probably now the word MITRE is not something that we can find. It's just a word by itself. What is software? What is the software and devices, languages, Kali Linux? I don't know what do you mean here. Do you mean what tools I use, how I create them? First of all, I have Kali on my remote machine to accept listener, this one. I create the ransomware and the reverse shell on Python. And Mimikatz is written on C++, and C Sharp and some C++, C Sharp, C++, mostly on C Sharp. I didn't touch C++ modules. So, and I had to make some modifications in C Sharp with in Mimikatz. I think that's it. All the rest, it was just by default. All right, so we ran out of questions. Let me check if you have anything else. Oh, wait a second. Could you see my screen when I... Oh, I think I got an idea. I got what's going on. Because when you ask about the password, I guess the poll stopped when I show the poll, there was a screen share that didn't allow you to see my screen, I guess. Sorry, my bad. Let's do it again. The question was about the password, user password. So here's the command. Here's the command. I think now you should be able to see my screen anyway. Here's the command. And let me run this command again. So here is the window. User like Michael Smith, type the password. And here's the password. And of course, you can use alt file. So sorry for that. I was thinking that you see my screen, and I assume that you see my screen, but you did not. And I just noticed that there's a still poll on the screen. Okay, thank you very much.